Hey guys, it's Kara here with Kinsley's Creative Palette. So I'm gonna try something today. I don't know if it'll work out or not. Where it's like a Pinterest fail. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. But I'm gonna try to make a realistic looking sunflower. I've done more whimsical ones in the past. So I'm gonna grab some paint and see what we can do. I think I want a plate. I have a milk carton or an egg carton, but I think I'm going to get a plate for this. And I'm going to get, this is antique gold. I'm going to get a brighter yellow. Let's see what this is. Cadmium yellow. I'm going to get a couple browns. This is burnt umber and espresso. And green, yellow, orange. I'm going to grab a couple of different oranges. Okay, so I'm reaching back here. I've got all my paint in this drawer back here, which this cart is invaluable. Keeps all my stuff nice and organized. Okay, so this is burnt orange, and this is just regular orange. And then lastly, I'm gonna grab, two, white and black. All right, let's see what we can do. I'll move the paint out of the way so that y'all can see better. And we are gonna start in the middle. I'm gonna take my plate, which is about the right size for my sunflower. And I need colored pencils. Where are my colored pencils? I should have gotten those out before I started. Sorry about that. Let's see, I know I have one in here. There we go. Green will work. Okay, so I'm just going to use my plate as my middle line so that I have a line to go by. Hello friends. I love sunflowers too. I think they're gorgeous. And I don't know if you saw a few weeks ago, I painted these. Let me show you. I painted these live and it got me thinking maybe I could replicate that onto here, possibly. Hey Cody. So we're just gonna try it. If it turns out terrible, at least I got to paint today and get some creative juices flowing. Got a ton of paintbrushes. It's kind of ridiculous. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the middle and I'm gonna mix some random browns. Good morning, Christy. Oh. If I miss a comment, it's because I can only see a couple on my iPad this morning. And I'm hoping that I tried to set it to do not disturb because I've gotten to where my videos will like glitch out if somebody's calling me on my phone, and I'm hoping I did it right, but I'm not the best at technology. So I'm just putting a bunch of colors on my plate because I'm going to kind of dip into different ones and hope for the best. That's a lot of colors. Ooh, I don't know that I'm going to use much of that one. And then let's do white and black. So if you're just joining in, good morning. It's 10:30. It's almost lunchtime. Okay. We got up super early this morning. My daughter had, she got straight A's last semester. I guess it was semester 6, no, not semester. It must have been quarter. I don't know. Last 9 weeks, whatever that is. And so they had a little ceremony this morning, and they had one last time, and we forgot, and we didn't go. So we were glad to make it this morning, but we had to be at school at 7:30. Good morning, Christine. Okay. I'm kind of scared to start. I'm just going to do it. All right, I'm dipping into, oh, that's too much. I'm dipping in browns and black. And I am just going to start dabbing. I'm going to go right along the edge. I'm going to try to show you up close. Whenever you mix, it's hard to tell, but the paint color, there's browns, there's black. It's just kind of random, and it's not one solid color, which is what we're going for. We're going for a textured look. So we need it to have several colors. Alright, so I'm just going to go, it's kind of an annoying sound. Just going to go all the way around. I'm going to fill in all of the little blanks. And I just keep dipping in the two browns and the black, just randomly. When I run out of paint, and just get some more. Is anybody crafting today? I got all my laundry done Sunday. Whoop, whoop. Anybody else do laundry on Sundays? Sunday just seems to be the day that I can get it all in the washer and dryer and not leave it sitting overnight. Good morning, Bridget. We're painting a sunflower this morning, and I have the template so you can cut yourself, which the weather is starting to get nicer, so one afternoon when my kids get home from school, I'm going to pull one of them to be the camera man or woman, and I will record a video showing you how to cut your own door hangers. But those templates, I do have some templates up in my shop at Kinsley'sCreativePalette.com. And then also you can buy the blank door hanger to paint at home. And I'll ship it to you, and then you can come back and watch the video. Christine, you always do your laundry on the weekends. So even though I'm a stay-at-home mom, I work a lot, which is by choice, so I'm not complaining. I love what I do, so it's fun for me. But my kids really do help out a lot, and they fold their own laundry as long as it's on the weekends. I don't make them do it during the week, so that's kind of one of my goals, is to get my kiddos to help around the house, because we're raising an entitled generation. I don't know if y'all struggle with that if you have kids at home, but lately I've noticed, like, if I ask my kids to do something, it's like, man, pulling teeth, and it shouldn't be that way. And so my husband and I this weekend were talking about it, and we're like, man, we've got to get the kids more used to doing more. Like, I've gotten out of their normal chores, and so yesterday, I'm going to tell a story. One of my dear children, I won't name which one, had gotten in trouble this weekend because they were talking back. Oh, thank you, Annie. But my kiddos, one of them was talking back this weekend, and I threatened them with losing electronics for a week, or they could do one chore a day when they got home, an extra chore, not what we normally would have them do. So, like, not dishes, because that's something they do anyway, but it would have to be something bigger. Well, that child got home yesterday, and it was the first day of their extra chore. And when I told them what their chore was, which was vacuuming the main floor, which is not, it's all hardwood, it's not that bad. It's like 10-15 minutes max. They threw a fit. And I proceeded to, after the second little fit, I proceeded to give them an extra chore. And so then they were like, oh no, we're just kidding. Yeah, no, that doesn't work for me. So they did 2 chores yesterday. I don't know, when will they learn? I don't know. It was funny because that same child was sitting at the table yesterday and didn't want to finish their dinner. But of course they get hungry an hour later. And so that same child started saying how they didn't want to finish their dinner. They weren't hungry anymore. And I said, sit down and finish your food. And they kept talking. I'm like, is this not how you got in trouble earlier? Oh, goodness. Being a mom's hard sometimes. Okay, so here's where we're at. I don't know. It looks pretty random. But I'm going to stop for now with the browns. And I'm going to go grab some orange, which I'm trying to show you my plate, but it's kind of hard. Let me turn my sunflower to the top, my holes to the top. I need to get a different brush because I can't do that brown in there. But what I do want to do, get a brush with a good size end, is I'm going to grab some of this orange. Bridget, are you saying it's hard being a mom sometimes? It's the best job in the world, but it's the hardest. Like, my heart bleeds for them so many times. I'm like, I just want to make it easier, but at the same time, I'm not doing them any favors by making life easy peasy. Because life's not easy. It's just not. Okay, so I'm going all the way around my black or my brown middle, and I just put some dots of orange. We're trying this. Now, don't shoot me if it doesn't turn out right. I just figured we'd get on and try, and if I mess up, you would see it's completely normal to mess up. Because I have a lot of you that don't want to pick up a paintbrush because you're afraid you're going to mess up, and I'm here to tell you that every one of us mess up all the time. Okay, so I'm putting this golden yellow color. I'm just kind of painting it on as a base coat on my petals, and I'm going to grab this orange and bring it in. Okay, so this is where we're at. See how that orange looks streaky? To make my petals, I'm going to use that orange. I don't know if you can see that. You see how I used that orange to pull that? Hey, Krista. Good morning. So we're trying to paint a realistic sunflower because I usually do whimsical, but I wanted to do something a little bit more realistic today. So I'm painting my petals, mostly this gold. It's called antique gold. There's actually a sunflower color, but I didn't have it over here. It's next door. So for now, we're just going with the gold. But after I did the middle, I added some dots with the back of my paintbrush so that it would be heavy, so that I could pull some of this orange into my leaves, or petals, sorry, not leaves. So first, I'm getting the yellow on, then I'm pulling at an angle so that it makes my leaves, or my petals, I'm pulling the orange in. And if you get too much, it's okay. Just keep blending. All right. So that's where we're at so far. Like I said, this may or may not work. But we have Pinterest fails all the time, and life goes on. So I figured it was okay to have a painting fail. Thank you, Bridget. Thank you, Christine. I missed painting with y'all last week. I don't know what happened. It was just like Friday came and went, and life had gotten in the way all week of jumping on live. And I'm excited tomorrow. Angie, welcome. Kansas girl, love some sunflowers. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time, I will be painting an Easter basket. And it's one that I did last year for my virtual paint party. And it's one of my absolute favorite designs. And so I'll be painting that live tomorrow, and that blank will also be available if you want to join and paint. So Christine, this template is available in my shop. It's Kinsley'sCreativePalette.com, and I think there's a shop tab, and you can look. You can either get the template or you can get the blank. So feel free to check that out. And I will be doing, I was saying this a few minutes ago in case anybody just jumped on, I will be doing a video soon of how to cut your own door hanger. The weather's just now getting nice, and so I have not been outside to with my kiddos to record it. I need an extra set of hands. All right, now one thing to make sure that you remember when you're painting your door hangers, which this happens at the studio a lot, people will paint them, and especially when they start putting their words on, they won't pay attention to where the holes are, and they will paint welcome like this way, and then their holes are this way. Thank you, Christy, for linking that. Rachel, I normally use a laser cutter, but I was going to show you all of y'all how to cut with a jigsaw so that you could cut at home. Do you cut yourself already? All right, I'm pulling some of that orange. That's what I'm doing. I've got all of the yellow painting, so I'm just going back and pulling some orange. And I let it dry a little bit too much, so I'm having to blend it. And don't worry about this line, the black or the brown line, being messed up, because we're going to go back at the end and we'll fix that. And you don't want it to be super dominant, the orange, so it's okay if your orange and your yellow mix. You're just trying to get a little bit of shading in there so that you can get some definition to your, you see that? Yes, use jigsaw and scrolls up. I don't own a laser, Rachel. I prefer a jigsaw to a scroll saw too. I actually bought the scroll saw thinking that I would like it better, and there are times that I have to cut here at home instead of being able to go to the lab, which is really cool. We live in an area where they have this, at the college, they have what they call an idea lab, and it was basically to give the community a place to be inventors. I don't know if that makes sense, but it was really a community outreach kind of thing. The college kids can access it too. They can buy memberships for not a lot of money at all, but it was really just to get your creativity flowing and to promote creativity. And so I am a member of that, so I can go and use their equipment, which they have the laser, they have a CNC router, but I tried to learn to use it one time, but it was way more complicated to me than the jigsaw, or than the laser cutter was, and so I went back to using the laser cutter. But I do like cutting with a jigsaw better than a scroll saw, and it's so much quicker. I don't know if you've tried this. Do you? I've got friends on here that do paint parties, so I'm not sure who does and who doesn't, but when I use the jigsaw, I can lay several boards together and clamp them, and then I can cut like the same shape, like 4 at a time, because my wood's not super thick. It's the like 1/4 inch. Actually, it's not even a 1/4. It's probably more like 1/8 of an inch. So anyway, I don't know if that helps anybody, if that tip helps anyone, but okay. So here are our sunflower leaves. See, all I was trying to do was give some definition to those leaves so it would look a little bit more realistic. What I am going to do is I'm going to grab a little bit of the bright yellow, and I'm going to come back in and I'm going to accent it even more. I will say the laser that they have at the Idea Lab at the college is the Rabbit. I don't know if that makes sense to you. I don't know if you've heard of that one or not, but it's pretty easy to use once you get the hang of it. All right, so I am painting wet paint on wet, which is gonna make my colors blend, which is exactly what I wanted. So just remember that if you don't want your colors to blend, you're not gonna use wet on wet. What type of wood do I use? I use tri-ply is what it's called. It's an underlayment wood. I buy it at Home Depot. I used to shop at Lowe's, but they have the Revolution ply, I believe is what it's called, and I didn't like it as much. So I went to Home Depot, and that's been the wood that I've been using for the last couple years, and I like it a lot. Okay, so like I was just saying with the acrylics, when you use wet paint on wet paint, you're actually blending. So if you don't want to blend, you want to make sure your paint's good and dry before you put the next color on. And my brush is getting really dry, but it's totally okay. I'll stick it in the water here in a minute and it'll all be good. Now I was just kind of going through the middle of these and adding the brighter yellow. I can go back and I can add a little bit more of the orangey color if I want to. Oh, any more questions? I like answering y'all's questions because sometimes when I get on here, I'm like, oh, I don't know what to talk about today. So I like it when y'all have questions, and hopefully some of my answers are helpful. Some of you may know a lot more about this than I do because you may have been doing it a lot longer, and that's awesome too. Okay, so I'm going to wash this brush out, and we're going to go back to, I'm going to go back to this bigger brush, dry it really good. If you're just joining me, microfiber cloths are my favorite way to be able to reuse a paintbrush quickly. So that's how I get all my water out of my brush, because when you are painting with acrylics, you don't want water in your brush. It compromises the integrity of the acrylics. So I'm going to go around this edge and just going to kind of clean it up. It doesn't need to be perfect. Out of browns. And I'm just dabbing. Annie, I have been in business now for 2 years, and I would consider my business more part-time right now just because I've got kids at home and I am primarily a stay-at-home mom. But yes, I do. I earn a part-time living with my business because really that's all the time I have to put in it right now. It's one of those things that if I had more time, more hours in the day, and like this morning I got a call from, after I'd just been at my daughter's school this morning, and got a call from her that she wasn't feeling well. So I'm the primary parent. I don't know if you've seen the memes on Facebook, but like there's usually a primary and a secondary parent. And my husband's job is very intense, and when we got married, I agreed that when we had children, I would stay home with them, and so that's my first job. So yes and no. When my kids are older, chances are I will hopefully at that point have built my business to where it's a full-time gig. If I'm going to end up working full-time at that point, I don't know. It just kind of depends on where life has me at that point. Okay, so here's where we are. I don't know, it looks pretty realistic, But I want to add some shading to the middle of the sunflower. So I'm going to add a little bit of yellow in with my brown. And let's see. And I kind of want to make like a donut shape. So I'm just dabbing. And Annie, I don't know if this helps either, but I am very new to painting. It's something that I picked up a couple years ago and I really enjoyed, and it was relaxing to me, and so I just really wanted to share that, oh gosh, that stress reliever with other people, which is what got me into painting. So, alright, so I'm just making a kind of a donut type shape with my brush strokes. Alright, if you can see. And I think I need to add, and this is what's always fun when you're painting, is to look at it from far away. Like for me, when I hold it up, I'm like, oh, it needs more there, like right here. So we add more. Alright, so my goal was a realistic-ish sunflower, and I'm pretty happy. What do y'all think? I just messed that up. It's pretty realistic looking, I think. I'm gonna fix this spot that I just messed up. My paint plate is looking a hot mess. Let me show y'all what it looks like now. You see that? I've dabbed in so many different colors. Any other questions? I don't know if I want to touch it anymore. Can't decide. It's a little bit orange. Annie, you should paint one. You should paint one. There's a link if you want to grab a blank or even the template to cut yourself. But it's so much fun, and it was really quick. It's and here's the other thing. This is one of the encouraging words I'll tell you if you're new to painting or you want to get into painting and you haven't done it before. Up close, I always feel like, oh gosh, that looks terrible, or I'm really critical of my paintings. But when you step back and you look at it, and like, especially when it's on your front door, like no one's gonna critique it up close except you. So, and I keep putting my hand right in this wet paint because I'm smart like that. All right, friends, I think that's it. If y'all have any questions, or if you want the template or the blank to paint yourself, they are in my shop at Kinsley'sCreativePalette.com. Thank you for joining me today. Yes, I do sell blanks. I've only got a few up there. Annie, if there's something in particular you're looking for, let me know. I've on my to-do list is to get all of my blanks listed, but they're not there. But I sell anything that I paint, I can sell as a blank. So yes, I've got a ton of stuff down here to paint. So I will be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. to paint an Easter basket. And it's one of my absolute favorite designs ever. It's the Easter basket with the bunny butt coming out. Like it looks like the bunny's in the basket with his little paws sticking out. How do you make, I make my templates I design all of my door hangers in Photoshop, and then I export them to an online service called Block Posters. And then when you get a template, just so you know what we're talking about, you're welcome, Christine. You print them off, it's a PDF, and then you tape the pieces together, and you set them on your board, and you draw around it, and then you use your jigsaw to cut. So I'll be showing y'all that here shortly. But I'll be back tomorrow. I'm excited to paint the Easter basket with y'all tomorrow. It's one of those designs that looks a lot harder than it is, so it's really fun to paint. So I'll see y'all later. Have a good day. Bye, guys.